Hey everybody, welcome to Bear Insider, Ultimate Insider. I'm Mike Pawlawski, former Cal quarterback, and today we are talking Cal Miami. And for all of you that were there, and all of you that went to game day especially, it was a great day for Cal fans to show up, really turn out, to produce a great game. I think the national news media probably looks a little differently at Cal after that. The game day experience was great. They were outstanding. Pat McAfee in particular seemed to love Cal and getting the crowd going. But I personally loved it, especially when you got the USA chant going and thinking about how funny that is around Berkeley. But that's just me. The other thing was Cal going toe-to-toe with Miami, late night game, about the only thing on TV at the time. I think that all kind of bodes well for the Bears, for Cal. And I think, new chancellor and Rich Lyons on board, things are moving at Cal. So I think that's a good thing. That said, the game was probably torturous for a lot of people at home who have seen kind of big losses evaporate like that. In the end, I've got a couple thoughts about the game. One is you need to learn how to finish. The Bears need to learn how to finish. And that's something you do by doing it over and over and over. When I talk about that, Cal was really good. The Bears were really good on third down defense against Miami. They gave up 40%, which may not sound like a great number, but Miami was averaging 65% on third down. They, however, weren't as good on fourth down. They gave up 3 of 4 to Miami on fourth down. Offensively, Cal was 20% on third down. They weren't finishing drives. They were either hitting big plays and big explosive plays. I think there were 5 or 6 plays over 50 yards and then another 4 or 5 over 20. So some big explosive plays for the Bears in this game. But they weren't hitting every down plays. They weren't gaining positive yardage. It was either boom or bust. And you need to be able to finish drives. You need to be able to run the ball. You need to be able to complete passes. And quite honestly, the Bears were outmatched up front. We knew that the line for Miami was really good across the board. I didn't feel like they had one player that was as good as Florida State's guy, Turner. But I think as a group, they were a very good defensive line. And there's dudes that are going to be Sunday players on that defensive line. And the Bears were able to take advantage of some mismatches, some blown coverage, some man coverage early in the game. I thought Jack Andrews in particular with a huge catch on the screen and go. And his speed, holy smokes. I mean, he outran Miami DB, so that was pretty impressive. But then I think, obviously the Jet and Jaden catching the screen passes and taking them for big yards. I think Tron getting open on the half roll backside post. Those were all huge, huge plays. And so they got the big plays, they got the explosives, but they didn't get the every down play. As a result, time of possession was a huge differential. The Bears had it for 22 minutes, and Miami had it for 37. Now, that said, if you're scoring on big explosive plays, then you're putting points on the board. But eventually that wears on your defense in the end. And so as a result, I think Cal's defense, they played great, especially early. That first half, that defense was awesome. 86 plays total in this game, 29 first downs for Miami. That's a ton of first downs. Cal had 12 first downs. That's what I'm talking about. Every down plays, they weren't getting it done. They weren't moving the ball. They weren't picking up chunks. They weren't staying ahead of the chains. And you have to do that in a game versus an opponent like Miami, who's as talented as they were. We talked about it going in. They had 3 wide receivers who will probably be Sunday players. Restrepo will find a place. I don't know that he'll clock out real fast in the 40, but he'll find a place to play because he's one of those slot receivers that just finds space and figures out where to get open. They had a couple other guys that could run, that could catch, and so really good at that receiver spot. Cam Ward is playing out of his head right now. He had 437 yards passing in this game. So good quarterback, good receivers. Offensive line was giving Ward enough time to find receivers, and when they didn't, then he would find something with his legs. But the first half, Cal's defense was really good. They got to Ward. They got the sacks. They got the pressures. They got the hits on him, and they kept him hemmed in for the most part. They created a huge turnover. A big pick six. Noel Williams, once again, comes up huge, taking the ball away. And so all of those things were really good at Cal's defense. They were excellent in the first half. But when you play that many plays, when you play 86 plays, and when you're on the field a lot, it tends to wear on you. And that ended up showing up in the second half. So you turn the game around. It was 35-18 going into the fourth quarter. So the Bears still up by 2 touchdowns and a field goal going into the fourth quarter. But then they couldn't finish. They couldn't finish on defense, and they couldn't get any plays really going on offense. Cal got 3 points in that fourth quarter. Miami got 21 points in that fourth quarter. And I always say it's 5 to 8 plays that you can point to that make a huge difference. And you could definitely pick them out in this game. The targeting call is one of them. The blown coverage on Cal's defense is another one, right? So those are some huge ones. There were 2 pre-snap penalties in terms of false starts. So there's 4 right there that you can point to that any of those go differently, and it changes the outcome of the game because you get first downs. And there were several others on defense as well. Not letting Cam Ward escape and scramble for the touchdown. Blown assignment on that one. So, you can point to a bunch of plays in this game, not just 5 to 8. There were a bunch of plays that if one of them go differently, it's different for the Bears. That said, they didn't. And so the Bears weren't able to pull it out. They weren't able to make the play when they needed to. They weren't able to finish, which, as you can tell, is the key word for this podcast. Because that's what they're going to have to learn to do. They're going to have to learn how to finish games off. They're going to have to learn how to successfully complete games. Super important for them to do that. Miami, one of the most talented teams, definitely in the ACC. I think maybe the most talented team that the Bears will face for the rest of the season. So I think that it was a good test. The Bears showed that they could go toe-to-toe with a team like that. But Miami believed. They knew that they could finish the game. They knew that they could come back and win. They did it the week before at Virginia Tech. And so they knew that they could find a way in this game. And the Bears weren't quite sure of that yet. And so I think that's a huge piece going forward. Bears need to find a way to finish a couple of these big ones, right? They finished at Auburn, but find a way to finish in these games. And then, we talk about Miami's roster. To be brutally honest, Miami is like $15 million almost in NIL money. It's a lot of money to spend on dudes. They have guys that have come in from across the country, Tennessee, Michigan State, on that defensive line alone, who they love, who are talented dudes who are playing well for them. And the Bears, in terms of NIL money, they don't match them in terms of NIL money, but they also don't have the guys who were NIL guys playing right now. You look at the receiver position right now. They're missing 2 guys who are big NIL guys. You look on the defensive side of the ball, you've got a nickel safety who's a guy who's an NIL guy who's not playing right now. And so the Bears need to find a way to make plays regardless of NIL matchups or anything else. But there is, when you look at it, spending $15 million for your roster in college football is a good chunk. I think Ohio State spent $20 million this year. And so that's one level that would help the Bears level up in a hurry, is to get to that same level in NIL. And so I think that's something, as Cal fans, as we look at the film, as we watch the game, as we talk about it, we should consider. And so just being brutally honest, the day and age of college football being a try-hard game is, they're sentimental memories at this point. The NIL period, or the NIL era, has made it so that the teams that are spending a lot of money are getting results. And if they're not, their coaches are getting fired, which is how it should be. But and I know everybody involved with NIL at Cal, people who are raising money, people who are giving money, bravo, because working, your butts off to get it done. But as a fan base, if we want wins, then that's the way they come this day and age in college football. And so we ought to start thinking there as well. Finishing there would also be great. Okay, all that said, not to get preachy, but the Bears need to finish. And so I talked to Coach Willcox. We're going to give his opinion on it. And that's coming up right now. Joining me now, head coach Justin Wilcox. And Saturday night game was one of those games that people are going to remember for a long time because it was a nail biter. Obviously, you guys came out on the wrong end of it. Talk to me now. You've seen the film. We talked right after the game. We knew there's always 5 to 8 plays. Where'd they show up in this game?
Well, it's probably more than that in this game. We were early in the game, made some real good plays on both sides of the ball to put us in, put us out in front and, hit some explosives on offense. That was really the story of the day, the explosive plays. And then defense got some critical stops on their side of the field or near the 50 where they were forced to punt, or, the pick six was a big one. But got some key stops. And then really all the way until, the fourth quarter or late in the third where it really turned. And then from then on, there's probably 10 to 12 plays on each side of the ball, and we just got to make one of them. It was we did not convert in the second half. Really, we didn't convert third downs on offense, and then on defense, we didn't get off the field. They had like 3 for 3 fourth downs, and they hit some explosive plays. We really struggled to get to the quarterback late in the game, and when we did pressure them and bring more people, we had a harder time covering them, and they made a bunch of plays, and really unfortunate, really, really disappointing. I think the play count showed up, and we've defended almost 90 snaps on defense and only ran 50 plays. That's difficult. Going into the game, our thought was we thought one of the critical factors would be the time of possession, and we needed that to be in our favor, and it wasn't even close. I mean, I think they had up for 37 minutes. And so you take the time of possession that Miami running 90 plays, we only ran 50, give or take. And then the fourth quarter, we struggled to get a first down and convert on third downs on offense. And then on defense, we gave up, we needed to knock a ball down. We needed to catch the tipped over throw. We needed to, get one more stop, tip a ball, do something, sack a quarterback. And we didn't make any of them. So very, very disappointing. Obviously, we have to do a better job as coaches at helping those players perform in those moments, and we didn't do that.
What was the change offensively speaking, between that first half and the second half, fourth quarter really, but the second half, in that you were moving the ball efficiently? You had, you took some big shots early on. I think there were 4 plays over 50 yards, so some big shots, and it was working out. The offense was moving. Second half, there were a lot of either negative plays or plays for nothing. What was the difference between the halves?
Well, yeah, we didn't hit the shots we could have hit. I mean, the entire day was real difficult on normal down and distance, just running inside zone, RPO, counter, traditional offense, meshes. We didn't create a lot of offense there, unfortunately.
Yeah.
The plays we hit, we had an out route to Mikey early. Fernando had a big scramble. I mean, these are not in order. We had Trond on the big over. Jack Indry's on the screen and go. That's kind of a one-off. It's a game plan deal. We had, again, Trond on the big post, 4th and 1 to Jaden. We hit a screen, and it was blocked well, but honestly, that was the Jet making 2 guys miss because there was a safety in the alley, and the defense is going to look at that and say, well, it should have been a 8-yard gain and make them punt, and the Jet made a miss. We had a couple opportunities late in the game. We had a screen called that we did not connect on between Fernando and Jaden. That would have went big. We had, even on the last drive, we had 2 or 3 plays where we could have hit a shot. We had a couple runs that we got to stay on the blocks. They were very difficult matchups up front. We were having a hard time protecting 5-on-4 or 6-on-5, and they were getting to the quarterback. And then we didn't connect on a couple of the throws late in the game. So it's just a matter of the ones we hit early, we didn't hit late, and we were not getting a lot of kind of traditional normal down and distance positive gains.
Yeah, and it seemed like, and we've talked about it before, right? The matchups up front, you just talked about it. We knew going into this game, Miami had some really good dudes up front. And so there had to be an answer for that. And it seemed towards the end of the game when they were able to kind of pin their ears back and come a little bit more that we ended up at a disadvantage there.
Yeah, they're a very talented group up front. They've acquired a lot of talent there. We felt like if we could hold up, we were going to get some shots because we felt like coverage-wise, we could do some things to get some guys open, and that was true. Again, the screen and go, the big cutback post to Tron. Again, we had a missed screen in the fourth that would have been it was an explosive for sure, maybe a touchdown, and so disappointing to miss that one. We knew going in if you got them on, you got to hit it, because again, the inside zone, 1st and 10 inside zone, or the RPOs, or it's just the kind of traditional offense. It was very, very difficult. We didn't get near as much going traditional offense. It took the kind of game plan one-off plays, and those hit, but we didn't hit enough of them. And then late in the game, we needed another first down. We needed one more first down somehow, and we weren't able to come up with it. So coaches and players got shared responsibility there. We have to do better.
Yeah, that's it. And you pointed to it. The big plays, right, reduce a lot of your play count, and then when you're not converting third downs, that also reduces a lot of your play count. So if you're looking to get time of possession and a high play count, if you're hitting big plays and then not converting third downs on other downs, then your play count's going to be down, so it's time of possession. Defensively, early on, this is a team versus Miami that we discussed did not go backwards. Like, they're a team who was always seemed to be moving forward, but you guys found something offensive or defensively to get them moving backwards. What was that early on, and talk about why it was so effective?
Well, we got some heat with some pressure, and guys winning on a block. Ryan McCullough, Teddy one-on-one. X had a win early in the game, sacked the quarterback, and then we were able to chase the quarterback down and either make him throw it away or get him on the ground. So it was good to see that. We were contesting things and finding ways to get off the field, and on third downs, and then they had the ball, in a position where they had to make a decision where they could go for it or not. And then in the second half, they were converted. I think every fourth down, they converted 3 of them, and we didn't, late in the game, losing Ryan McCullough hurt. That was noticeable. And then as that play count crept up, we were not near as fast, and it was harder to keep up, and we struggled to rush him. We struggled to get the QB on the ground. We missed a opportunity for a tip ball. We had a guy miss we had a double edge pressure call. The nickel didn't go, and the guy scrambled for a touchdown. Then we busted a coverage late. Just a flat out bust, and then safety couldn't get him on the ground. And the kind of running out of gas, the lack of one-on-one wins, the bust on the nickel not going, all that stuff showed up, and we needed one more play, and there's probably 10 or 12 in there that we just got to make one of them, and we didn't make them.
Yeah, opportunities across the board, including that targeting call. I think everybody on the air, and you don't need to comment on this, but I said it, that was going to be the clinic film for what targeting looks like next year at the officials meeting. Brock Osweiler on the air for ESPN said if that's not targeting, then they need to rewrite the rule, because that was everything it had to be. I'm just going to leave it there. You don't need to field that, but like that, if you just get that call, that changes the entire focus of the game, because now you get the first down and you run the clock out and you're in good position. Offensively, Jack Endries showed up. How about the screen and go? I didn't realize Jack was that fast.
Yeah, Jack runs pretty dang well, and that was a great execution. That was a kind of a game plan specific thing, and great throw by Fernando, and great job by Jack. Caught it on the move, right on target, and can't remember what he hit on his GPS, but it was up there. That was impressive.
It was moving because he outran 2 DBs from Miami, who are not generally slow dudes.
Right. Yeah, it was a heck of a play.
Yeah, it was a great play. And then defensively, Noel Williams once again coming up with a huge play, pick six.
Yep. First play of the second half for them. Just a great job by Noel. Laid across the middle. He didn't make that mistake again at quarterback. That was, a combination of probably a poor throw and then a great job by Noel to capitalize, catching the ball and scoring with it. And Noel's got his hands on the ball a lot this year.
So I know we came out, obviously you talked about losing McCullough in the game, a couple injuries in this game. Anything that you're free to talk about?
Yeah, Jaden wasn't able to finish. Hopefully we'll be able to get him back going. Ryan McCullough be questionable this week. And I think other than that, hope to get some of these other guys back that have been out. So we'll see. Yeah.
Okay. And then this week you go into Pitt, another undefeated team now, 5-0 coming in. Watch their game versus North Carolina. I like their quarterback, Holstein. He's a good little player. That little running back they have just kind of does everything. And they got a pretty good wide receiver out there as well. Talk about that group as you face them coming in against Pitt on the road this week.
Yeah, really good offense. They execute at a really high level. Tough O-line, good tight end, good wideouts. The quarterback's playing really well. He's leading. He's one of the best in the country in really every statistical category at quarterback. Running back is good. They got another running back coming back, we believe, this week. So talented offense, scoring, 50, 45, 50 points a game. They've scored in the 70s, and then they've scored in the 70s and scored in the 50s already this year. So it's obvious they can put the ball in the end zone.
What do you do when you have a running back like I believe it's Reed, that number 0, and a little guy, right? He does it all with him between the tackles. He catches the ball. He's a big check down guy, which he caught over 10 passes last week. What do you do with a running back like that who can kind of do a little bit of everything?
Yeah, team defense, run to the ball, don't put it on one guy. It's got to be team tackling, and in the pass game, it's leverage, making sure you get your proper leverage. And if they do get it to them on the perimeter, that you got multiple people breaking on the ball. If they check it down to them, that you got, knowing where your help is so you can vice tackle it. So he's a very, very good player, no doubt.
And then what about their defense? Have you taken a look at their defense?
Yeah, they're always good. Coach Narduzzi, was at Michigan State forever, and very aggressive corner play. A lot of quarters coverage, and then some 6-man fire zone stuff. And he's been real successful on defense for a long time, and so they're going to be very tough. Good linebackers, kind of traditional 4-3 looking outfit. Really good safety. So they're a talented group that knows what they're doing. Play real tough.
So kind of a pick your shots, know when they're in, what they're in, and take your shots at it. North Carolina hit some big balls down the field on them, just a couple of them. Probably with 4-beaters would be my guess, but it's hard to tell with TV games. But all right, Coach. Well, looking forward to seeing the game this week. Tough one last week versus Miami, but as always, appreciate you coming on.
All right, thank you.
So that's Coach Willcox. Essentially, you could hear it there. Same ideas. Finish a bunch of plays, know your assignment, get it done. And that's what has to happen. Players need to be in the moment. Mental preparation, right? The mindset skills to play in the biggest moments. I thought overall, if I'm going to go through and kind of, rank stuff, I thought having Jay Knott back was nice. A couple big screens. I thought the jet was awesome. On the screen catch especially, he made a dude miss in the open field, which was great. And he got the extra yards, a couple cuts that were just fantastic. I think offensive line, we could have played better, for sure. We could have opened up some more gaps. We could have gotten more protection for the quarterback. Fernando Mendoza hit the big play, right, to Tron, and he hit the screens when he had to. I thought he was 50% passing in this game, but he was also under a lot of pressure. And so I thought Fernando played well. You can only, at that position, make the plays that are yours to make. And so he had, the screen to Jay Knott at the end would have been a great one to make. And it was, from my perspective, watching film too, a little bit as a quarterback, as you're throwing the screen, you're trying to get it around somebody, but you're expecting the screen to come out flat like you draw it on the whiteboard. And oftentimes running backs don't take the same angle. So Jaden was a little upfield in his angle, and Fernando was a little bit outside in his throw. And that's where the miss was. It was just off the fingertips at the end. So got to clean that up as well. But that would have been a huge one that would have gone. That would have been a game changer as well. But overall, offensively, more production. 12 first downs doesn't get it done. They need to find a way to get it done on every downs. They need to find a way to run the football. Because if you can't run the football, then you are forced into passing down situations only or trying to screen your opponent. And eventually, that stops working. And so to become more well-rounded, to have the RPO game go, to have the run game go will help a ton. In terms of defense, I thought they played great early on. Took the ball away again, Noel Williams touchdown. I thought the linebackers were, fantastic, running around, making plays. I just think they ran out of gas at the end, and mental blown assignments can't happen, right? That's one of those things that you need as a player is ultimate focus in the moment on the position. You have to have it. Bears didn't have it in this one. And so there's skills there to develop. There's things there that players can do to improve mentally to help the team. And then, like I said, NIL matchups are huge. Speaking of mental skills, by the way, my book, Everyday Great, coming out October 15th now. So the hardcover and the paperback will both come out on the same date. The release date is now October 15th. That's next Tuesday. So appreciate you guys. You can text GREAT to 55444. Get on the mailing list. I'll announce it when it comes out. But next Tuesday, it is coming out. Now, let's turn the page. Pitt, coming up. Good football team. Also undefeated coming into this game. They have a really good quarterback in Eli Holstein. Good football player. I like him a lot. He is making good decisions. He's not Cam Ward. He's not that kind of guy. But he can beat you a little bit with his feet. But he doesn't have that swagger like Cam Ward had. But he can throw it, and he can throw it deep, and he's got some targets to throw to. Reed is the running back. Tiny little guy. But he does everything. Double digits catching last week. And so he's a good little football player. You got to figure out how to keep him contained. The Bears going back to the Northeast for the first time in a long time. A good road trip again, long road trip again, but an opportunity to kind of get back into it. I think the matchup up front is much better this week than it was versus Miami. So I think this week favors the Bears better than Miami did. I think the Bears have to play at top level again. They have to find a way to make it happen in an opponent's territory who has momentum going for them in a hostile environment. All that's going to be going on. And the Bears need to figure out a way to stay dialed in mentally, emotionally, dialed into the moment. It's going to be huge in this game. And so we'll see if they can rebound, right? Miami is a tough loss, but you get back to it, you get to practice, you get to work, and you do what you can. Anyway, that's my take on it. Don't forget my book, Everyday Great, the playbook for winning at everything, coming out October 15th, next Tuesday. Text GREAT to 55444. Get on the list. I will remind you. If not, it will be on Amazon and paperback and hardcover, both available, which is why it's launching on Tuesday now. Anyway, I appreciate you all. Good talking to you. I will talk to you again from Pittsburgh. You can catch our broadcast, KGO 810, or I believe SiriusXM will be carrying it as well. I'm Mike Pawlawski for Bear Insider and Ultimate Insider. As always, go Bears.